Hi everybody, it's Robbie here from Brenco Guitars. Thank you for watching and welcome to the next part in our Great Guitar Build Off 2021 series. I'm going to get our begging out of the way here first. Please like, please subscribe, and all the videos you watch in the Great Guitar Build Off, from the official competition, the invitational, the scratch build, the kit build, please subscribe to everybody. Subscriptions mean a lot, and with the change in algorithm and requirements to get monetization and that, subscriptions and likes really help everybody, especially with the changes now that we know smaller people like us are going to have ads put on our video, but we won't be compensated for it, but YouTube will, so please help us out if you can. Begging out of the way, let's talk charity. A lot of the guys from the Invitational have selected charities as well as the Great Guitar Build Off charity itself, and my instrument is going to be no different. We're going to be selling this guitar for charity when it's complete, when it's complete, and all profits from it will go to a charity organisation called Football for All, which is for special needs children so they can participate in sports. It's a very, very worthy cause, and one that means a lot to me. And so when the instrument is finished, if you want to get in touch, it will be for sale, and we'll talk about that when the instrument is finally finished. And as I said, every penny from it will go to Football for All. It's so the kids can get some new jerseys for the forthcoming season. So as I said, good charity, good cause, and hopefully you'll be able to help us out. So then we'll move on and show you our next part in the series. Spoiler alert, it's more of the neck. So just moving on with the neck now. The last part we just did was we just drilled out our holes for our tuners. So the next thing we're going to do is we're going to cut a big slice off the top of the headstock, and then on top of that we're going to glue on some black veneer, and then this piece of purple heart is going to go on top, and then we can thickness that down to get the exact thickness of headstock that we require. So we're going to go over to the bandsaw now, and we'll just cut off this big slice here at the top, and then get ready to start doing our next glue up. So as you saw there, we took off a slice with the bandsaw, and then we just gave everything a quick buzz with the router to take it down to the depth we want. So it's time for another glue up. We're going to put on this piece of black veneer, and then we're going to put on this piece of purple heart. Now you can see by doing so we're pretty much bringing things back to exactly the depth they were, but we're just going to repeat the process then of once we have this purple heart glued in, we'll take off a slice with the bandsaw and then route things down to the final depth. Probably could have used a piece of purple heart veneer, but it would have been just a little bit too thin, so we're just going with this option to give us that slightly thicker look. So as we said, time for another glue up, and then we'll come back to doing our final shaping on this and routing down to depth. So that's our piece all glued up and clamped up now. So it's still a little bit of a squeeze out to clean up there. But other than that, we'll just leave that to one side to dry for a couple of days. And then we'll come back, and as we said, we'll take a little slice off the purple heart and then route everything down to our final depth. So it's the next day, and we've taken the clamps off, and we've got a pretty good glue up here. So what we're going to do next is we'll take it over to the bandsaw, we'll trim off all the excess, and then we'll set up our router table, and we'll get it all trimmed up nice and flush, and then get things sanded down, getting nice and smooth. And then as we said, we'll take a slice off this purple heart here at the front, and we'll use our router then and get things down to the exact depth that we want. So that's our purple heart piece, nicely routed and following the contour of the headstock. So we're going to repeat the process that we did earlier. We'll take a small slice off the top of this purple heart piece and then use our router to take it down to the exact depth and get things nice and smooth. So that's our headstock routed down, nice and flush, nice and smooth. So what we're going to do next is we'll go over to the drill press and we'll re-drill out our tuner holes. So we're just starting work on our fretboard here, and this isn't our fretboard, this is the one we made a mistake cutting earlier. And just to show you what we're planning on doing, we're going to take this brass rod and we're going to cut off some small parts, and that's going to become our dot inlays for the front of the fretboard. We've got a smaller brass rod we'll be using for the side dots. On the side of the fretboard we'll be putting on a strip of our black veneer, and then we'll be using some purple heart binding, so it shouldn't look nice and attractive going down the side of the fretboard. And also for our 12th fret inlay, we're looking at doing like a hammerhead shark kind of inlay. So we've just cut this piece out of purple heart here, and we just got our Dremel tool here, and we've just been cutting away some of the wood to do a test here, and we've got it fitting okay, kind of some gaps around the side that we can fill in with some dust and that. So that's just been our test piece. So what we're going to do now is we'll take our actual fretboard and we'll try and recut this inlay and try and do it a little bit better than we have done on this. Then we'll get on and we'll get our dot inlays and we'll shape the whole thing, get it radiused and get our black veneer on the side and our purple heart. So we'll just press on ahead now with all that. So we've got our actual fretboard here now, and we've just drawn around our hammerhead inlay here. So this is where we're going to be placing it, and we'll remove all this material here. So we've got our Dremel, we've got various different bits and things like that, scalpel blade, chisels, the whole lot. And as you said, we weren't going to do this, we were just going to use basic dot inlays the whole way, but then we saw Ben's video, Crimson Guitars, the other night, and he laid out the vine inlay that he's going to be doing on his great guitar build-off. And as he said, you know, inlay really does elevate an instrument, so just something nice and simple, kind of, you know, just to try and make things a bit more interesting visually. And so we said this is our second fretboard because we messed up on the first one, and we've got a lot of maple still here, so we're more than prepared to mess this up as many times as possible and just keep making fretboards if we have to. So, you know, might as well, you know, all or nothing. So we'll start to route out this material now and see how we get on. So before anybody screams that you need to be using a router base for this, I have two different router bases for it, but whatever way it is, I just can't see anything with them in place, so I'm just doing a freehand at the moment, and then we're going to come back with a flat bottom bit to flatten out the bottom of it. So we'll just keep going on ahead and keep on test fitting and removing small amounts until we get a good fit. So we've got our inlay in place, and it's actually a really good and tight fit, and we do have some gaps in some areas, and we've just got a little ding in the fretboard just there, but when we radius the board, I think that should get rid of most of it. If not, we'll do a little touch up there. So we're good for fit, and we just need to go down depth. So we're just going to use a different bit in the Dremel, and we'll use our flat base then as well, and we'll go down to a decent depth on it as well, so we don't lose too much when we radius the board. So we'll just press on ahead with that now, and we'll deepen this hole slightly and get ready to put this in. So we've got our fretboard and inlay ready now, and we've got a nice little pile of purple heart dust as well for filling in any gaps. So this should hopefully be a straightforward enough glue up, but we'll see. So here goes. sure to put glue on the right side. So it's a little while later, a couple of days, and our inlay is glued up nice. It seems nice and solid. So we're going to take it over to the sander now, and we'll sand it down as flush as we can safely get it, and then we'll come back with some files, etc., and sandpaper to get it completely flush. We've got some more purple heart dust here if we need to fill in any gaps or anything like that. But as I said, we'll go to the sander now and see how things are. So we've sanded down now and we're pretty much completely flush with the surface, but we do have some small little gaps around the edge and that. So what we're going to do is go back with some of this, as we said, we've got some purple heart dust here, so we'll just mix that in with some glue and that, and we'll just try and fill in those gaps, leave it again, and we'll come back for another sand down. So this is our inlay, almost complete. We've done a couple of different fills around the edges and stuff like that. We just rubbed the whole thing down with some white spirit here to take out all the dust and that. So what we're going to do next is we're going to recut our fret slots here. We'll remark out the exact shape of our fretboard as well, and we'll get ready to start radiusing the board and cutting it down to shape.